Hi guys, and welcome to my IBM Watson Analytics tutorial. Before we dive right into the tutorial, I'm going to give a basic background on the data we're going to be using. So it's the MLB splits of the last 11 years based on playing situation. So by playing situation, I mean grass or playing on grass or turf, playing at day or night, etc. Stuff like that. And we're going to be looking to see how that affects strikeouts per game. So that's our goal, and let's get started. Now before we can analyze those stats, we need to upload data to IBM. So begin by clicking Add, Drop File or Browse, and then select on the file that I provided you with the data. I've already done it. It'll produce a tile that looks something like this. It'll say high quality data, give you a number. It'll be labeled whatever you have it labeled in your computer. So now let's get started with the first tile, which is the refine tile. Now for here, this will normally be, this in your data set will be named total bases, and to switch it to total number of bases, simply just click on it, click on the three dots, click on properties, and then change the name right in there. You can just change it to whatever you want. Say total number of bases, that's what I did. Okay, now for the second part, I'm going to demonstrate how to perform calculations. This is just a demonstration how to do it. So click on this Actions button up here, then you'll see right here, calculation. So your first step, is to type in the name of our tile. So our tile is going to be stolen bases per game. Now I already have a column that looks like that, so it's telling me I can't do it, but for yours it should be fine. Then click on A, and you'll want to select stolen bases out of this column here. So stolen bases. Then the middle one, you'll want to switch it to a divide sign. And then B, just number of games. Simple as that. And then you can click Done, column of data, right for you. So there's the refine. I know I didn't go into detail with the refine tile, but for the most part, everything that we needed to refine had already been done. So now let's exit out of here by just clicking there, and then click Welcome, and that's done. So now we move on to the Explore tool, which is where it gets real interesting. We can find some cool trends, stuff like that. So just click on here and then click on Explore. There we go. Finally. Okay, so as you can see, it'll give you a screen like this. Now there's two ways you can go. You can either go in here and ask your own question, or you can pick one of these pre-selected questions. Now even if you don't use one of these pre-selected questions, they're really useful because they show you how you should ask questions basically. So start with like a what is, and then use keywords such as relationship, trend, contribution, values, breakdown, connections. So yeah, it's nice, it shows you how to do it, but we're gonna type in our own question. So click up on here on this bar, and then type in how do values of strikeouts per game compare my playing situation, and then hit enter. Now you get a screen with multiple things that Watson thinks is relevant basically to the question you asked. So we're going to click on this first one right here, and it's taking a while again, sorry. Okay, there we go. And it'll produce a graph that looks just like this. So it'll give you on the left hand side strikeouts per game, average, and then on the bottom it'll give you each of the playing situations. So artificial turf, day, dome, grass, night, open, and retractable. And then you can just analyze and see. So already we can see a trend. Artificial turf and dome produces more strikeouts per game than, say, day and grass. And night, it appears to be the lowest. So you're already seeing things. Now, say you wanted to change the graph to a different form. You just go over here in this right-hand corner and click on that, and it will pull up a multiple variety of different visuals you can use. However, this is probably the best visual for us. Now, another way to filter it is, say, retractable, we have minimal data for that, so we don't really need it, basically. So just simply click on it and hit exclude, and IBM Watson will get rid of it, just like that. Now, if say you want to just solely look at dome, you can click on that and then hit keep, and it will get rid of every other one. You can just analyze dome by itself, but we're not going to do that. And another useful tool provided to us is this bottom row in terms of filtering our data. So, say we want to see what each team's strikeouts per games are on grass. So click on the team right here and then drag it into grass. And IBM Watson will automatically create a new graph showing how each team, as you can see over here by the chart, each team's strikeouts per game depending on grass. And it's really interesting, like here the Nationals don't strike out on grass apparently, and then you can look at this team and the Phillies strike out all the time on grass. So it's really cool. We get a good feel of it. And then you can play around with that with using all of these multiple tools. Now we're going to take a quick look at the predict tool. So go back here, click welcome. You're back to this home screen. Click once again on the same data and then click on predict. Alright, so after it loads, you'll get a screen very simply like this. Up here, you can name the workbook whatever, so we're going to do strikeouts prediction. I'm bad at spelling, sorry. Okay, so there we go. And then you select targets, up to 5. In our case, we're just going to do year and then strikeouts per game. So click on the targets, go down, find strikeouts per game, select that. So now we got our 2 targets, and just click create. And then it will demonstrate how it's creating a new workbook for us. Okay, now that it's done loading, you'll see that it's quite full of information. So we'll go through it part by part. Down here on the bottom are new fields. Like, you know how we chose 2 fields to initially start this? Here are additional fields if you want to add to the prediction as soon as this finishes loading here. If you just want to add another field, say base on balls or whatever you want to do, see, you can just drag this and then put it in there, and it will add that field to our prediction. However, we don't need to do that. We already have the 2 fields we're interested in, which is strikeouts per game and then year. So then up on here is the second part of interest. This basically just tells you how the data is, whether it worked, and if there are any fields found. So it's basically just an overview of the process that constructed our little workbook here. Now the most important section for us will be on this right side screen here, and this gives you the predicting factors. So it shows you things such as batting average drives strikeouts per game with a 21%, which makes sense. If you have a higher batting average, obviously you're probably going to strike out more. Strike out less. And then there's other factors, hits per game and strikeouts per game, etc., predicting. So we are going to click on this first one, how batting average drives strikeouts per game. So click on that. And you'll get a screen that looks like this. And it basically just gives you what you probably could already guess, that when your batting average is under 240, you're striking out a lot. And if your batting average is over 270, you're not striking out, which makes sense, obviously. Now you can click on this right side here to get the details. It's basically just telling you the same exact thing, but it might be easier to read, etc., stuff like that. So here's the graph, strikeouts per game, your batting average, etc. And that's it for the predicting for us. So now we're going to exit out of the prediction tool. Go back here over to welcome once again. And now, once again, just click on the original data set. And last but not least, we have assemble. So click on assemble. And you'll get a screen like this. So you could either do single page, which provides one page to you, but you can do whatever you want on it, you know, stuff like that. Tabbed, which is if you want multiple of these type pages within your workbook. And then you have infographics, which is basically the same as these, except you can fit a lot more graphics. So we're going to name it baseball stats final view. So there we have that, and then we are going to go down a bit and click on this one because it's a good looking one, so why not? To begin adding graphics, we're going to use this search bar up here. So in the search bar, you're going to want to type how are strikeouts per game affected by playing situation, and then hit enter. We'll let IBM Watson work its magic. Load, and there you have it. You'll have a playing situation graph with strikeouts per game. Now obviously we're going to have to edit this some. So first we're going to click on strikeouts per game. Strikeouts per game. If I can do this right, click on it. There we go. Click on the filter. Click on the sum, actually, sorry. And then you'll see average. So click on average because we don't want a sum of strikeouts per game. We want to see what the average is per game for a year. And there you go. That's much better. We also don't need retract. So click on retract. Hit exclude. Alright. So say you're a huge Cubs fan or something, like me, and you want to see how the Cubs' strikeouts per game are affected by the playing situation. So just drag team over here into local filters, put team, and then go down and select Cubs, and bam, just like that, Watson will automatically do it for you. And so we can see that the Cubs strike out more in turf, inside a dome, and they also strike out more during night, which is interesting to me.